Chile. My face is just shining, boy. Okay. All right. So, what is going on, y'all? Hey, happy Saturday. Today is day 1 of my personal being project where I am doing 30 days of self-care in a manner that prioritizes me above all, specifically anything that has to do with labor, grind, hustle, capitalism, job, 9 to 5 in that kind of vibe. Okay. And so today is day 1 of this. And it's already off on a high note. I have already it's maybe 11:30 today, and this morning on Saturday, I believe it is the 18th or 19th of October. And so far so great. I have already started to do things that prioritize me treating myself as if I am the job. Self care is a full time thing. Self care is a full time job, in my opinion. And I've said that for some years now. And I am really doing what I can to make that my reality, which can be very hard because we know what systems we exist in, specifically capitalism, which says that above all else, we've got to achieve and strive and hustle and grind ourselves to dust, grind ourselves to the bone. And a lot of times when we do that, especially for Black women, we end up our mental health is not good, our physical health is not good, our spirit, like all the health, our spiritual health is not great. I personally experienced depression several times in my life. And I've talked about that on the Brown Girl Self Care podcast before several times. But this capitalism thing, it's just one thing that I feel is that capitalism. I mean, we already know that capitalism has it wrong, but I believe that it has it wrong for reasons, including the fact that capitalism expects us humans to prioritize, like, capitalism is the work. The work is the priority. So the work is like a 9 to 5. The work, capitalism, the work. The work for us is to commute, is to check emails, is to make our bosses happy, is to 10x our sales or 5x our sales over last quarter or over last year. And that way, as we're 5xing our sales goals, for example, we are making the owners of the company or these people that are in the higher positions, these CEOs of these businesses, wealthier. Okay. Uh we're lining their pockets. We're helping them become millionaires and billionaires, right? When we're 5xing or 10xing our sales goals or doing these jobs that we have been paid a lot of times minimally to do, we are sacrificing ourselves, sacrificing it all, our health, our well-being, our joy, our peace, our all those things, our energy, our time to get a paycheck. And that just has never sat right with me. I don't understand how we got to this place where the work is these things. The work is the 9 to 5. The work is the labor. The work is the grind. The work is clocking in and clocking out, commuting, uh, Zoom meetings, phone calls, keeping customers happy, making money in a sales position, or whatever the case may be, whatever your job is, whatever your 9 to 5 is, like that is considered working. That is the work. But I decided I'm going to flip that on its head. That to me is not the work. Yes, it is a job, but that to me is not the work, or at least not important work to me. The work to me is my healing, my happiness, my joy, my relationships, my health, my relationship with God, my inner work, how I feel about myself, loving myself, supporting myself. Like that is the work for me. That is the work. The work is not the job. The work is not the 9 to 5 grind. The work is not the hustle and how fast and hard you can go to earn X amount of dollars and all that. That is not the work to me. The work is securing myself, not securing the bag. The work is securing myself, securing my community, securing my relationships, securing my health, securing uh my peace. That is the work to me. That is the work to me. And I wish that we were allowed to have that type of holistic view and understanding, but that's just not the reality that we exist in anymore. That is just not the reality that we exist in. It's just not. We have come so far away. We are so far removed as a society uh, of seeing ourselves as humans being human beings. Okay, we are now machines. We're meant to be machines. That's it. How much labor can you do? How much output can you do? How much can you give of yourself in these jobs? How much can you bring to the table for these jobs? How much can you bring in so that we can elevate these people, these bosses, these CEOs, these big brands? How much can we give of ourselves so that stocks can increase and so that CEOs can go out and buy the $5 million home and the $250,000 car, and for them to take these extravagant vacations and do whatever it is that billionaires do and and multi-millionaires do, whatever that is, while we just kind of like forget lose ourselves, while we are sick, broke, busted, disgusted, depressed. How much of ourselves can we give? And so um and this is not to say, I want to be very clear, this is not to say that you don't deserve, or that anyone doesn't deserve to live well, to live abundantly, to be wealthy, to be able to leave a legacy for their children, to, all that stuff. I myself, at some point, believe that I will, for example, I know that I am going to be living in an RV within the next 6 to 12 months. I want my RV to be nice. I don't want some broke down, busted, barely hanging on. I don't want that experience for myself. I want something that when I walk into my RV, I'm home. I feel safe. I feel secure. I feel loved. I feel supported. I feel at peace. I feel happy looking at my surroundings because they're nice. They're what I want. So there's nothing wrong with living in such a way where you are living abundantly and you have wealth. And I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is there is a problem, there's a disconnect when we are putting those things above other people. And that's what capitalism does. It continues to make the divide between the haves and the have and the barely hanging ons bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, for what? For what? It's not like a lot of these businesses are creating things that, for the better good of society, will help us to thrive. It's not that at all. A lot of these businesses, it's just wasting resources, or creating things that people really don't need, but making it in such a way that if you don't have it, you ain't shit. You don't have this thing, you ain't shit. You don't have this Tesla, for example. If you don't have what's that Tesla called? The one that looks like a damn transformer, the ugly one. I don't even know what that's called anymore. You guys know what I'm talking about, the SUV one. You don't have this model of luxury, or this ideal of this type of luxury, you ain't shit. If you don't have this type of car, you ain't shit. If you don't have this type of home that is filled to the brim with extravagance, you ain't shit. If you are not, in other words, living this uber wealthy, where I can just be like, look at me, look at my necklace, look at my belt, look at my Fendi $700 belt. Like, look at all this extravagance thing. You ain't shit. I just don't want to live that way. I don't want to live that way. I want to prioritize. I want to, like, my job here is not to labor for something that doesn't matter. That's not my job. That's not my purpose. That's not my goal. That's not why I'm here. So I'm, again, this whole 30 days of being, this whole 30 days of self-care, that today is day one. For me, it's about flipping what we have been conditioned to believe, which is the 9 to 5 is where our time and energy, like, that's where our value lies. That's where the importance needs to be. We need to sacrifice and give of ourselves and clock in and be the best employee and strive and hustle and grind and keep your phone on even when you're on your way home or when you get home. Keep that laptop open. Don't put in any vacation time requests right now because, you know, we need you. Okay. Like, that is not, I'm just not here for that. I'm just not here for that. I want to treat self care, and I am doing this. I am treating self care as if it is a job. And by that, I mean giving it the type of respect and energy and time that I would give to a 9 to 5 that was paying me. I am the priority. You are the priority. Okay. Your humanity is the priority. And so, yes, it is definitely a risk to have that kind of mindset. It is definitely a risk to say, to like flip the whole thing on its head and say, I'm the priority and not these jobs. I'm the priority and not capitalism. I'm the priority and not these systems. I realize it is a huge risk. Money makes the world go round. You need money to keep the lights on. We know this. You need money to put food on the table. We know this. You need money to buy a car so you can get around. You need money or to get Ubers or travel or commute or ride the trains or whatever. You need money for that. You need money to uh, secure education for ourselves and for our children a lot of times, unless you want to go obviously the public route. Like, we know that money makes the world go round. I get that. So again, it is a risk that I am taking for this 30-day period to not prioritize any kind of grind, hustle, that kind of thing. Now, I haven't worked a 9 to 5 since September of 2019, but still, there are things that I can and need to do to make money, obviously, especially within like brown girl self care. I get that. I technically could be working 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day, Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday, whatever, to do all the things that could help me to generate the income that I require to live, to be able to pay my rent, to keep the lights on, to eat, to put gas in my car, to pay my bills. I've said this before. I am in debt right now. Yes, I am. And I am working to pay off this damn debt, which will, well, I'm not going to say how long it's going to take because I'm not believing that and I'm not claiming it. But, you know, obviously there is money that is necessary for all of us. Some of us just get it a different way. So when I say 9 to 5, even though I'm not technically working a 9 to 5 right now, I'm still talking about just any type of labor in general that can put money into your pockets. We are taught to prioritize that. We are taught to pay for degrees, to get great educations so that we can turn that degree into more money. Okay. It just seems very odd to me that for someone that wants to live well, let's say you want to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, I don't know. you have to pay money, lots of dollars, to then secure the degree that you need so that then you can, while in heavily in debt, now you can go out there and be a doctor to save lives, if that's why you wanted to become a doctor, because you genuinely care about people, not because of the necessarily the amount of income you can make, which is not wrong, but I'm saying if you're prioritizing people over the income, right? So it's just this I just feel like this is just so twisted. I really, really do. I just feel like it's really twisted. So like I said, yeah, I'm definitely taking a risk by, above all else, prioritizing myself. So let's go through what each letter means of being, 'cause I don't think I talked about that yet. And if this is your first video of the series that you're catching, um, I have decided to take on an experiment where for 30 days I'm not prioritizing the grind. I'm not prioritizing a job. I'm not prioritizing uh, hustling, trying to bring in money or anything like that. Like, that's not the priority. The priority is me. I am the priority. Honoring my humanity is the priority. My healing is the work and labor. My self-love is the healing. My self-love is the work and the labor. My how I feel about myself, how I prioritize myself, how I take care of myself, how I support myself, type of compassion I give myself, how I love myself, and also extend it to others. Like, that is the work for me for this 30-day period, above all else. So obviously, yes, I will still need to do some type of work to generate some income because I ain't got it like that yet, but it's not taking priority over me doing what I need to do to honor my humanity every single day for 30 days. I am the work. So the B stands for body, the E stands for environment, the I stands for identity, the N stands for nurture, and the G stands for ground or grounding, or N is for nurture, nurturing, G for grounding or ground, right? So B for body. And these are pretty much, they're obvious things, but I feel like putting it into that type of format will help you to remember that overall it's about you being a human being, number one, but also the fact that you are being someone who is prioritizing your humanity. It's the act of being versus doing. Okay. Doing to me is like the laboring, the working, the grinding, the stressing, the hustling, the pushing through no matter what. I got to get this work done. Like, I don't want to live my life like that. I would much prefer to be in a state of being more often than not. Okay. So again, the B for body. Uh what am I eating today? How am I moving my body today? Am I taking a walk? Am I doing yoga? Am I roller skating? um, am I gonna prepare a salad today? Am I gonna, uh, you know, fast? Am I, like, in other words, it's things that help you to remember to nurture your body. Am I going to drink 8 glasses of water today? Am I gonna, those kind of things. So that's the B for being, remembering your body. Okay. Doing things for your body. The E is for environments. What type of environment am I cultivating every single day? What type of spaces am I showing up in every single day? Physically, as well as friendships and relationships, the whole environment. What am I trying to cultivate? So, for example, um, it could be cleaning up your space, one small space, 15, 20 minutes a day. It could be lighting a candle. It could be having a really good conversation with someone, a friend who is a safe space for you. So that's cultivating your environment as well. Okay, not just your physical space. All right. It could be going to the park, getting out of the house. It could be getting your car cleaned inside and out, because that is also an environment that you're in. Okay, so thinking about your environments could be traveling to a new place and allowing yourself to just be in a place that is just absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. All right, so that's environment. And also, don't forget your work environments too. So, the kind of conversations you're having at work. Are you gossiping? Are you chit chatting all the time? What's your desk look like? Is it cluttered? Is it clean? Is it organized? Is it kind of haphazard? I am not the best at organization. So a lot of times I would like write things down on post-its and then I couldn't find stuff because I didn't know how to have an organized kind of system. All right. Even your digital environments as well. Are things organized? Are they can you find them quickly? Is your inbox like overflowing with all these unread messages? So maybe one day for you take 20 minutes and just kind of clear out your inbox. So environment is not, I just want to make it clear, environment is not just necessarily your physical surroundings. All right. I is for identity. I is for identity. And it is, I think of it as uh who- like who I am now. So doing things for who I am now, but also keep thinking of future Bree as well. I'm thankful for future Bree. I'm thankful for present Bree. And I'm thankful for past Bree. But identity is thinking about things that maybe you experienced in your past that you want to heal or work through or show some love to or show some support to. Even thinking through some things and deciding that you have to do hard things. So, one of the things that I did for identity before I started this challenge today, this happened maybe like 2 or 3 days ago. Um, I owe, so I've settled one of my credit cards. How do you say it? Unfortunately, though, the payment is over $250. So, not only am I needing to pay rent, lights, Wi Fi, food, gas, insurance, those kind of things. I'm also responsible for repaying this debt, which I will do. But the money, the cost is like over $250 per month. And that for me right now is a chunk of change. So I had a decision to make. Like what, because sometimes, especially in the past, I would tend to have so much fear around different things, so much fear around a lot of things, but one of them specifically is having to have hard conversations, having to say, for example, I ain't got it, I can't do it, I don't have it. Doing those kind of things would be very scary for me. I have so much fear around doing those kind of things, but that's a part of adulting. I charge the debts and I am responsible for paying the debts, right? So, but when I don't have something, like for example, not having the money, I can sometimes go into a shell out of fear. And it sounds crazy, but I know I'm not the only one that has experienced that. There's just some type of, I go into like flight mode and I have to run away because it's very dangerous to not have it, to not be able to handle my responsibilities, to have to say, raise my hand and say, hey, I don't have it. And because in my mind, I feel like there's going to be like these huge consequences. And so the I for identity for me a few days ago was having to call the creditor or debtor or whatever they're called. Oh, I think I'm the debtor, calling the creditor and saying, hey, because I had a decision to make. It's either I need to pay this money or I don't eat for the rest of the month, possibly. And we're only in the middle of the month and I got to eat. I have to prioritize taking care of myself in that way. I have to eat, right? And so I had to call them. And at first I was scared. Like the old Brie, she wouldn't call. She wouldn't call at all. She would just dip and let the chips fall where they fall, which obviously that's not a good way to handle things, but that was what past Brie would do to protect herself. Okay? She would run. So the version of me that I am now, when I think about identity and who I want to bloom into, she doesn't do that. She handles her responsibilities. If she can't, she, raises her hand or she makes the phone call or whatever. She sends up the smoke signal that says, "Hey, this is what the situation is. And then I try to figure out, well, how can I do XYZ? What will it require? Can I do it? Do I have the capacity? Just thinking from that perspective. Even though there may still be some consequences, I'm not saying that, but I'm not running from it. It just kind of like, it is what it is. Once I've done things that are within my control, it is what it is, right? And I'll just have to deal with that down the line if necessary. But I'm not running from it. I'm not hiding from it, okay? That's the difference. And so I got the phone number and I called them a couple of days ago, I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, whenever it was. And I told them this is what the situation is. And, they replied back and said, well, if you don't pay, then you're going to break the contract that we've agreed to. And this is going to happen and blah, blah, blah. Um, so I have X amount of days to get this paid. And if not, then they may take me to court. And it is what it is. But I was responsible enough to say, hey, this is what it is. I'm not hiding, I'm not ducking you, but this is my situation. And that's what it is. But I believe that as I move through these things, and this is a part of the experience and experiment for me, the 30 days experiment. As I move through this, even doing the hard things during this 30-day period, especially the ones like the identity is one of the hardest ones for me. But as I move through this experiment over the next 30 days, I feel like it's going to bring about radical changes in my life, great changes in my life. Maybe not immediately, but they will help to lead to radical changes in my life that will only benefit me one way or another. So even though right now it might look a little scary, I know that ultimately it's going to be okay. When you are acting as your best self, it can only be okay, right? So that's my mindset going into it. You know what I'm saying? That's the mindset I am choosing to continue to hold. And so again, that happened a couple of days ago, but I just told myself, whatever's going to happen is going to happen, but I am believing that I will be able to make this payment, whatever, but not stressing about it. And literally, like less than 24 hours later, a friend reached out to me and she's like, hey, girl, can you help me with some social media stuff? Something that should be very quick. I will pay you $250 if you just take a couple of hours and bang this out for me because she doesn't have the time right now to do that. I used to do social media management and so I was like, yeah, absolutely. So there's my $250 right there. All right. So again, me acting as my highest self, the one that has bloomed or is blooming, is definitely going to pay off in whatever way, in amazing ways, versus me that shrinks, hides, folds into herself, won't allow herself to be brave, even if I feel afraid or scared. You know what I'm saying? So, again, the identity one is one that I'm really, really rooting into. All right. And then N is for nurture or nurturing. What things do my inner self, my inner child, however you want to look at it, my spiritual self, like what things do I need today or what will help me to feel nurtured, grounded, safe, secure, loved, whatever it is I need to feel or experience in that day. And so today, because I've done some of the letters already, today, as I was greasing up my face, as I was greasing up my face, um, I was just talking to myself. I was talking to myself and saying all these amazing and beautiful things to myself and about myself. Can't remember what those things were, but they were just words of love and affirmation. And you got this, and you're amazing, and you're doing a great job, and um, just those type of things that I just needed to hear today. All right, so that's one way to nurture yourself. All right, um, and then G is for grounding, getting outside, sticking your feet in the soil, sticking your feet in the sand, hugging a tree, taking a nature walk, sitting down, being mindful, meditating, prayer time, sitting in silence, turning off the TV. Um, those are some ways that you can ground yourself. Taking 5 deep breaths, inhaling through the nose for 5, holding for 7, exhaling for 5, holding for 7, or doing some type of box breathing like that. Like those are ways of many that you can ground yourself and just allow yourself to be more present, body, mind, soul, spirit, like all those things. That is how you can ground. All right. So this again is day one. I really don't know what the other 29 days are going to look like as far as how I'm able to show up. Am I going to just go live every single day? I don't know. Am I going to just record some video and do a 30-second, they call them shorts here on Instagram, the reels. I don't really know what it looks like, but I am committed to doing my best to showing up one way or another every single day to talk about this. All right. But yeah, this is definitely a risk that I'm taking as far as like putting the whole money thing to the side because I would be stressing out about that so very much because obviously like we said before you need money to live to do all the things to whatever. But I feel as if me prioritizing myself and doing my work is going to lead to that one way or another, somewhere down the line, if not immediate, somewhere down the line. And that also the things that I need, I am trusting that the things that I need will come to me, will fall into place as I need them. So this is definitely leaning a lot on my faith, obviously. So your girl is not telling you to go out there and quit your job tomorrow or on Monday. I'm not telling you to do anything like that. But what I am, my ask is that you, as we, or as I guess, go through this 30 days, documenting what's happening in my life, documenting anything I notice, any thoughts, etc. Um, that you use it as inspiration to kind of like look at where you are personally right now in this season and see what areas of being you can kind of like tap into more on your day-to-day in your day-to-day life, um, and to not treat yourself as an afterthought because you're not an afterthought, right? We need to be the forethought, not the afterthought. So you do whatever you need to do. Your mileage may vary, definitely different than mine, but that is what I am doing for this 30-day stretch. So I wanted to kind of just check in for day one, let you know how it's going. So far, so great. And yeah, I'll definitely be back tomorrow in some capacity, be it again a short, a caption on YouTube here for the day. And I think they have like a post area where you can just write a note and include a picture, or just going live. But I am committed to showing up here in some kind of way, one way or another, every single day for the next 30 days. All right. So are you with me, girl? If you're with me, let me know. Drop a comment below on YouTube here. Let me know. Make sure that you like if you haven't, or not like, make sure you subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. So you can just kind of like watch me during this 30-day period and use this as inspiration for how you prioritize yourself as well. All right. All right. So that's it for today. Day one, more or less in the books. And I'm just excited to see because this is going to be past Brie at the end of the 30 days. Obviously, me right now, I am going to be past Brie. So 30 days from now, I'm just excited to see what that version of me is saying and talking about and what her thoughts are and how this went for her and what she's noticed or how she's grown or what challenges she had, whatever the case may be. So yeah, I'm really excited to be documenting this. All right, so that's it for me. Your girl is out. Have an amazing weekend, and yeah, I'll see you one way or another tomorrow. All right, bye.